Welcome, everyone, to day 3 of AWE USA 2021. It's going to be a very exciting day. You are in Grand Ballroom C, so if you were supposed to be anywhere else, now is the time to go there. But you are in the creator track, so it's going to be the absolute best track of the whole day, and I'm not biased at all. And we are going to kick it off with some very amazing, awesome individuals. Before we do that, just some real quick housekeeping reminders. There's the awe.live. Download the app or use the mobile site. Put together your own agenda, leaderboards, message people, a lot of fun stuff. There'll be a coffee break in the expo halls from 10:15 to 11:15. So compared to conference prices, you can't say no to free coffee. There'll be an event wrap-up and best in show announcements on the main stage at the end of today. The concession stands are all over the place. And the AWE team encourages you to post social channels and use the event hashtag AWE 2021. And we have some amazing people that are talking, starting us off and then throughout the day, so please take pictures and share the love on social media. All of these things are being recorded, and don't forget that the expo hours in the hall is open today from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So if you haven't seen all the cool stuff over there, please go check it out. Also, real quick, a big shout out to our sponsors. The AW team would like to thank our gold sponsors for their support: Arbor XR, KRAR, Xerox Company, HP, Metamaterials, not to be confused with the other one, Plug XR, and a big thank you to our titanium sponsors, Niantic, Qualcomm, and Unity Technologies. So, yeah, exactly. Woo! Thank you, people, for paying the bills. All right, so. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and jump in because we are not here to hear those opening announcements. We are here for the first session of the day, which is the future of art and creation, interactive art and games in AR. So with a round of applause, please welcome, I present our first, our panel moderator, Cami Karras, to the stage. Woo! And as Cami comes up, she's a creative technologist at Stream. Make sure to follow her at Twitter or on Twitter at Cami Karras and check out her website, KAMIKRRAS.com, for all the great work you're doing. And the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Oh my gosh, yes, that's me. Why don't you all give yourselves another round of applause, because wow, you had 2 days of conference and you're here on the last day, so good for you. Yes. 9 a.m. and we are alive, awake, alert, enthusiastic. All right, let me introduce you this incredible panel that we've got today. First, someone I'd call my very close friend. She has worked with some really big clients like Google and Adobe and Cartoon Network. Please welcome to the stage, Estella Tse.
You're so funny. Oh, hi. Oh, wow. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah. Yeah, go Oakland.
Next, she calls herself the Swiss Army knife of digital tools. Please welcome to the stage, Lafiya Watson Ramirez.
Lafiya.
Hello.
Next, we have the starter of AR House, and you might recognize their very popular Doodle Lens app. Please welcome to the stage, Aidan Wolf.
Ow!
Thank you. Am I mic'd now?
You are mic'd now.
Nice, cool. Fun feeling.
And keeping it official with both Instagram and Snapchat, doesn't have any free chicken nuggets, Leighton McDonald.
Sorry, I don't have any nuggets.
That's your intro always?
That's always their
I
intro.
gotta get it branded.
Yeah, speak for that. Okay, now before I have all y'all reintroduce yourselves, Estella, I'd like to ask you, how are you doing today?
I'm having a very spatial day.
That's very good. I'm really glad to hear that.
Come on, it's early. We can do this. We can do this.
So I'd love to hear a little bit about yourselves and your position in this industry and as artists. And why don't we start with you, Estella?
Can I pass it to Leighton? I kind of want to.
That sounds great. Let's start with Leighton.
Sure.
Putting him on the spot. All right.
My name is Leighton McDonald, aka Late Effects. I am a spatial interaction designer. I started kind of in AR in college, doing a construction vehicle AR concept that could see like pipes in the ground, all that, blah, blah, blah. And then later on, literally just turned into, oh, how can I show my cool sculptures in AR? And then turned it into Instagram filters, and Drake just had my filter on the other day. It's like pretty crazy. So yeah, it's like,
Whoa!
yeah. So it's I'm just enjoying entering the tech industry and being able to express myself in this way.
Okay. Yeah. Is it going back to you?
No, I don't know.
She's going to Jaden.
Who's going last?
No, I'm Aidan Wolf. I made a couple cool apps. One of them is called Blue Sky Paint, which I'm still love. You could like draw in the sky with everyone around you. I've been really interested in like connecting people together creatively using like social AR and what's possible. And I think it's like a really cool medium to express yourself and like get to know each other. So I've been really motivated to like figure out what that looks like. And yeah, I've more recently gotten into like the Snap ecosystem and building stuff for spectacles and things like that. I think it's going to be really fun, and it's just nice to put things out and get them in front of a lot of people. So I've really enjoyed going from more like platform, like deep tech stuff, doing like VPS, to then doing social AR apps, to now just like being full on creative, building content. And it's good to keep, I think, a balance of that. Yeah, between being the creator and like the creative tool creator kind of thing. Yeah. Anyways, that's it. Yeah.
I'm Lafiya Watson Ramirez. I'm a multidisciplinary artist based in New Jersey, but diehard New Yorker. My background, sort of my foundation, is photography and web design and development, and did that for many years freelancing. My parents are musicians, so a lot of my clientele were musicians and artists and documentary photographers and all of that. And then I worked for 8 years for this amazing summer camp, which was kind of like my dream job because I got to use all of my different skills. I'm kind of a Jane of all trades. But in about 2018, I realized in my own kind of artistic practice, I've been feeling very creatively stagnant, and I kind of needed a change, and discovered Unity, and then discovered AR, and just fell in love with it. And it really wasn't until I participated in the MIT hackathon, thankfully beginning of 2020, before everything fell apart. And it was really a life-changing experience for me because I felt like I found my people and just found what I really wanted to do. So between that, and then I did a Snapchat residency that both Estella and Aidan were a part of in October, and fell in love with Lens Studios. I've also been doing a lot of snap filters and things like that. So I'm just really excited to see where my path is going to take. But.
Yeah, Hi, everybody. I'm Estella Tse. I am an XR artist as well as creative director. I was one of the original Tilt Brush artists in residence. Did some stuff with Cartoon Network, Adobe. I helped form Arrow before it was called Arrow. Very cool stuff. So I do a lot of like creative R&D work is kind of how I kind of categorize that. So people come up with new creative tools, and I break them and tell them what I want as an artist. And I'm also a cashier at a plant nursery. Yes. I'm very proud of that.
Yes, plants.
Yes. And then, as you mentioned, Lafiya, yeah, I met them in the Snap residency. I've been doing some experiments with AR stuff. Right now, the reason I want to work at a plant nursery is both for mental health as well as like, I just want to learn about nature. I think that nature is the best designer, and I want to learn more from her. So that's what I'm doing.
Yes. Love that, and love all of you. Okay, I've got some great videos to show, also some of their work. This is a group of visual artists. We got to see what they've been doing. So let's start with Lafiya's Bad Chick Studios work.
Best name for a studio?
Did I do it? I think I'm doing it.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh, almost.
Oh.
Yes.
I did that.
Yeah.
Oh, this was the game.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Always. Lafiya! Awesome.
That was great. Okay, now I'm hoping that if I press this green button, it will play the next one. Let's find out.
Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Nope.
No, it played
We're
the
just
same
gonna
one
watch me all
again.
day.
Next video.
We got it. Push the
Green button.
Oh,
Oh.
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I should have brought it.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Okay, here's
As black
Leighton.
artists, I feel like a lot of young up-and-coming artists are not represented. I wanted to showcase their work in an augmented reality gallery in 3D in a new way that's never been seen before. The new spectacles are AR glasses that allow me to overlay my imagination on the world through augmented reality. When I first saw them, my first reaction was, finally, this is it. Like, everything's changing now. All the things that I've been working up towards are gonna be reality. My name is Leighton McDonald. I'm an industrial designer and spatial interaction designer. The future inspires me, being able to think about what's next. So I wanted to make it easier to bring art to the people, and with that I created an AR gallery. There's something really magical about experiencing AR art everywhere on the streets. I don't think art galleries should be limited to people of privilege. I wanted to showcase underrepresented artists and show them in a light that is beautiful, digital, and just inspirational. I feel like it's important for those kids who are underrepresented to see art that's made by people like them. These kids can just pull it up anywhere they want now. They can see the gallery in their room, they can see it at school. They don't have to go on a field trip to go to a gallery to see art now. Lens Studio is a software where you can create AR experiences and export them to your glasses. It's easier to use because there's less guesswork to frame your lens, and now you can see everything instantly when you do it. I think technology is here to help us. It's not here to replace humans, it's here to assist us. Anything we can do to help each other with technology, I feel like is the best way moving forward in the future. Create the world you want to see.
Yay.
Incredible work, Leighton.
Guess that's it. I can leave, right?
Never.
Pat your best back.
Okay. Yes, okay, next up we have Aidan.
Yeah. That was pretty fun. Let's play it again.
It's like a project action, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it really works. Shake detection.
Oh.
All right, and last one, we've got Estella.
We all have different moods.
Very different moods. So pretty.
Those were socials, cut off shorts.
Those were all really great. Let's see if I can go back to the main. Yes, perfect.
Perfect.
Everything's perfect and wonderful. Okay. Those were some really incredible videos. Thank you so much. One thing I noticed is that there was a lot of, lenses in there, a lot of Snapchat going on. And I was wondering if I could hear from y'all, starting with Estella, why is that?
For me, it's like the easiest platform to create AR stuff, and it's the most accessible, so that someone doesn't have to download an app just to view my stuff. If they already have Snapchat, they already have access to all of their lenses ready too. So that is a huge factor in just trying to get people to see our work, I would say.
Yeah.
What do y'all think?
I think also, aside from that, they're such a great platform in terms of the features that they have, to be able to play with hand tracking and facial recognition and voice recognition and 3D body mesh and in a way that makes it easy to do. I'm fascinated with machine learning. I've tried it on my own. I cannot wrap my head around it. So to be able to go into Lens Studio and to be able to play with those tools really easily and just focus on creating stuff is really awesome.
Yeah, I agree with that. When I created Doodle Lens, my goal was to make something fun to make AR with, and I thought everything else was boring. I was using Unity. I tried Lens Studio years ago, and I was like, this sucks. Why would I use this? And I just one day was like, okay, if I can make this hand-tracked sword thing, then maybe I'll use it. And I was able to do that in a hotel lobby in a couple hours, and was like, oh, that was the most fun I've had making AR in a really long time, and I was just hooked from there, and I honestly stopped working on Doodle Lens that moment because I was they've done it, they've made something that was fun finally, and yeah, they just have so much out of the box. I think that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for me it was more too, I know a lot of people started out using filters with Snapchat, so they just associated with that. So in terms of engagement, on there, it's just incredible. And also being built within the Unity kind of engine, it all the rendering comes out beautiful, you know what I mean? I don't have to do much to fake lighting and all that, so you can make anything look amazing with Lens Studio. That's how I fell in love with it,
Yes, great answers. I loved all of that. Aidan, you touch on fun, and I think that's a really big theme in a lot of your work, and I'm wondering, how do you foster fun in your projects and your experiences?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. I think it comes down to being inspired by lots of toys and video games and things, and you can kind of pick up on these elements. To make things more accessible, I think you don't simplify them, you make them more fun to use, because the fun gets you over the hurdle of the learning process, and there will always be a learning process. I've watched people touch the lenses of spectacles trying to tap the UI on the inside. And still it has to be fun when you make those mistakes. So yeah, I think I'm just really encouraged and try to push a lot of fun, and I put faces on everything. That's a nice trick, is just make everything smile at people. Make all the buttons have a face, and then it's oh, nice. Yeah, that's nice, and yeah. And also there's a great talk on juicing. It's from GDC from years ago. It's is it Vlambeer? I don't know, but it's a great talk. They just talk about how to make everything fun in a game, and they take Breakout and make it the coolest Breakout arcade version you've ever seen, just with adding animation and stuff. So watch that too. Inspired a lot. Yeah.
Cool. Did you say on juicing? Is the term juicing?
Yeah, it's juicing. You juice it up.
Oh,
juice
okay.
up the game. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's what separates a lot of good games from bad. They could have the same gameplay, same everything. It's just that little extra polish, basically, that makes it fun. And yeah, so that's what it's called.
Great.
Oh, that's cool.
Thank you so much. Good resource.
Cool.
Estella, you...
You are great.
Panel over. You're amazing.
No, it's so uncomfortable.
You went a fine artist route, and you have a lot of experience with painting and then also coding, and you kind of mix those worlds. And I want to know, how has your fine arts background influenced your work?
Yeah, thank you. So yes, I have a formal training in visual development design for animations, and that whole entertainment world. I went to school at Art Center in Pasadena, and the way that my illustration skills really leads into like my XR work is just really understanding how to tell a good story with a still image. Like a lot of the stuff I had to do in school and like the illustrations I've had to do is like how do you convey three-dimensionality in 2D, which is like a huge, difficult task to do. And just the reminder, like illustrators, like they're really good at doing that, which is like a magic skill, I think. And so taking that and then being able to then actually create stuff in a spatial world, it's like, oh my God, this is crazy. And it's just mind blowing. Like every time I kind of go back into VR and like start painting, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I can just go over there to paint a tree. I don't have to like blend the colors to make it seem like it's fading in the background on a flat plane, which is very difficult to do. And other things that I think about is just like the visual language and understanding how to use the visual language in that toolkit from filmmaking and movie making, and then bringing that into the composition of the world and the space around me. It's different because it's more like theater in that way. So then it's like, okay, I need to learn more about how like theater set designs are done and how architecture works.
Yes.
So then I can like bring those elements in order to tell a piece in VR
I love
and
that.
AR.
Do you feel like you're unlearning anything from your art background?
No, it's more challenging. It's like adding extra layers to it because if you're watching a film, you're not an agent in it, but when you're in VR, you're in AR, you are an agent. So what does that mean for the story? It kind of like, okay, whoa, let me like shift gears a little bit.
Yeah, that's cool.
One thing that you said is instead of painting in a way that adds dimension, you just go over to a spot. Do you find yourself moving around a lot?
Yes.
Yes?
All
Yeah.
the time.
And how does that affect your like design review process?
Oh, I get my steps in a lot because like I'm constantly walking around. So the process for me is I do a lot of my paintings in VR and then I bring it into AR. So even Aidan the other day was like, hey, like, do you know how to get tilt brush stuff into Snap? I was like, I have a whole
Yes.
documentation on that. I give it to you. So it's like, I love painting in VR and then bringing that into different platforms in AR. And then from there, it is a lot of moving. I'm moving when I'm painting and then bringing it in. Well, there's a lot of like this and troubleshooting and file conversions for like 3 days. And then it's like, okay, let me bring it into different environments and let's see what that looks like.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. How about just for like the whole crew, what is your like, as you create something and then you want to get feedback from others, or maybe you have a client and they've given you a task and there's like the back and forth on that conversation. How do you get feedback? How do you show them the process, and how does that whole review go? Leighton, I'd love to start with you.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's just clients and also creators. So there's always like that relationship of showing people how the process works, and a lot of this stuff is brand new to a ton of people. So trying to explain, like you said, I'm like working on a thing right now that's like taking a 2D image and making it 3D, but like at a large scale. So it's like explaining how that looks. Like now I just show screenshots of like the process while I'm creating. Like, okay, this is what you're gonna start with. The first step is gonna look like this. Like the third step's gonna look like this, and it like stops a lot of the guesswork where people might see something in the middle of the process. Like if you're looking at a Basquiat painting in the middle of the process, you're like, what the heck is this? And then if you look at it at the end, you might still be like, what the heck is this? But at least it's like kind of finished if you compare it to something else. So it's more about showing those people the expectations of what things are during the process, and like point A, point B, point C, D, you know what I mean, all the way to Z. So I feel like that's the key to kind of like mulling the weirdness that can happen when you're working with like clients and people and even creatives. Is just setting those clear boundaries of this is what things will look like at this time,
Yes. Yeah, I'd say like Lens Studio is a good place to mock up, but I also like totally recommend Blender. If you can make things quickly in Blender, just a couple like screens of what it will look like, download stuff off Sketchfab, like whatever it takes, polish it up, and then have those couple images. It goes a super long way. Like you can win projects that way. You can, and obviously show people like what you can do. So yeah, it's definitely recommend doing that. Instead of coding, I used to always code first, and that's like a huge mistake because half that work doesn't get seen, like in a presentation or like an email. So yeah, don't do that. It's a horrible idea.
I see. I need to learn Blender better, so I'm not fast. I think along with that is just, I think like Leighton said, managing expectations, especially what people expect from these different platforms, and also like even Spark versus Lens Studio. There's things that you can do in one that you might not be able to do in the other, and just making sure the client is aware of that. What the limitations are, and all of that. So.
Yeah. You had a client that like asked for a lens and then was wondering why it didn't work in the web browser, and it was like, well, because it works in Snap as you asked, and they're like, it can get messy. You gotta like clear up because all these different platforms.
There's a lot of client
don't
education
connect.
for sure.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah, like you said, like Spark versus Lens, like what are the differences?
Yeah.
What can one do versus the other? What does the output mean? Like you can view it on Instagram versus Snapchat. Like what does that mean in terms of like marketability and like all those words that are related to this? It's just like, that's not our job.
Awesome. Lafiya, you as the Swiss Army knife, you say that you, I just love that term. You say that you pull in all of your forms together, like photography and design and development, and mix it all together. And I would love to hear about how those other like mediums like affect your work.
Like I said earlier, photography is definitely my first love and foundation, and that's what I went to undergrad for. And I think I probably tend to look at things, through that view with composition and things like that. But I've always, these last few years, again, this is kind of like my midlife crisis, like, new career path. And so I've just really been thinking about, like, how did I get to this point? And I've always really loved mixing things together. I'm going to date myself. My last huge passion was Flash. I was really into Flash. Die-hard Flash.
Yeah.
Flash. That shows I'm old. But like, I loved Flash for that reason, that I could bring in my photography and create animation and music and all of that stuff together to create a coherent piece. And I've always, prior to that, I would try to find ways to do that. Before I had discovered Flash, I did a piece in college that was a self-portrait piece, and I bought these little recorders from Radio Shack and like recorded music that I thought represented me. So like I've always been trying to do that in some way, even if it was like in an analog fashion. So when I discovered Flash, that allowed me to do it so seamlessly, I was like, yes. And then Flash died, and I was like, no. So I honestly realized I've kind of felt creatively lost for a long time once Flash started going downhill, because I was like, what tools can I use to do that again? So that's why I've been so passionate about AR, because it's allowed me to do that really easily. And taking it back even further and even older, I grew up learning Logo. I don't know if anybody remembers Logo. Woo, yay! For those who don't know, Logo is a programming language. We're about the same age, awesome. It's a programming language that I learned from grade school on up, that they taught kids, and it's like you have a little turtle on the screen. And it kind of was mixed media too. You can make music with it. When you gave it commands like RT250, it would turn in different directions and it would like draw on the screen. And I would love to create things in that. One of my favorite projects ever, and I made in high school, was I created a whole scene from the show New York Undercover from the 90s. I made it in Logo, complete with with the theme song and everything, all built in
How
Logo.
come it's not on your portfolio?
It's on a floppy disk.
Yes, floppy disk.
Yes, MVP over here.
I am the oldest one on the stage, as you can tell.
Oh my God.
So, but yes, bringing it back to the present. So that's why I've really been passionate about AR, because I've always just been interested in everything, and to be able to just pull it all together seamlessly is my jam. So
You're so cool. Bad Chick Studios, indeed.
Yeah.
So cool. That's it. I just wanted to lift her.
That's it?
Yeah. We're all friends here. I don't know if y'all know this. Like, we're all cool. I think the like XR artist community, like we're all super tight with each other, because like we all gotta stick together and like inspire each other.
Yes,
It's just
exactly. And
Yes.
make a house.
And make a house.
Everyone
Make a
gets
house.
Yeah. Congrats on it.
yeah.
And, I'd say that says a lot about like future art and creation, is just like Flash was such an important thing where you could create anything really accidentally and then like show that to a friend, and that was like really a nice loop, like really quick. And I feel like Lens Studio too, I'm like always trying to figure out like that's where my jam is. Basically, you could create something and then you can like share it. And the quicker that happens,
Exactly. I think that's, and I think as I evolve more as an artist, I think it's like thinking about like we can make art, but there's a huge component of like sharing it.
Exactly.
That's really important for us, I think. And so like what that output and what that medium is it's always in our minds of like how are we sharing this? How are we creating art to then spread our voices in a way, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
Twitter, awesome, great.
The Twitters.
Twitter.
All you had to say.
Great. There's so many good nuggets in there. Let's talk about community, because y'all were just hyping that up a little bit, and then someone mentioned a house. Aidan, what is AR House and why?
And why? Yep.
And why?
It's a community for AR creators in the Hollywood Hills. It's like just a place to come to for a month, like work on whatever you want, have fun, meet with other people who think like you, feel a little less crazy about being in this, industry that like there's not really any money, or like you can't really build a company there yet. There's not a lot you can do without like VCs and tech culture kind of stuff. So like for artists at least, we just want to make a place where you like don't have to worry about food that much and like housing, like the basics, so you can work on cool stuff together and get like hardware to try too is another part. So that's what it is. And we're just growing it and expanding it. I think it's something that's like missing because there's so many like corporate lines and like there's so many different tools. It's just like bring everyone in the same place, and it's more like what is the vision we want to create in the future that isn't like necessarily like top down, like Meta or like Snap isn't telling us what to do, but it's more like we create from the bottom using what we have. So yeah, that's what it is. Like hopefully grassroots movement of some sort. Or like creating reality that we can all live in, that hopefully is an expression of like more individuals and things like that. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, something like that.
What's it like having just like a tight-knit community like that, and how does that affect you as an artist?
Oh, it's awesome. You don't realize you need it until you have it, and then you never want to let it go. It's like having people around you that, like, I feel like when you have similar interests, your ability to be friends too, like, increases tenfold. I don't know. Yeah, I think that makes sense, right? That's probably basic human information. Anyways, so it's like really good to be around people who are interested in the same stuff, because you just get hyped up every day, and it's exciting, and you like want to leave your room and your bed and like go down and talk to people about what they're working on and everything. So it's like a really good environment, and yeah, you create just like this knowledge network of things, and yeah.
I'm sure that helps to like troubleshoot stuff.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It's like, I can't get this to work.
Yeah.
Like, it's so helpful to have friends in this space that know that pipeline. And then being, like, I think I message y'all every so often in, like, the Discord. I'm like, how do you convert this? Like, has anyone tried this before? And it's like, it's great to have other people.
3 days later, it's like, still wondering?
Still, yeah. Hey,
I need help too.
Did anyone figure this out? I think I had something, like, I was doing a file. I was trying to bring, like, one of my Tiltbrush files to the the Apple platform, and then recently someone was like, has anyone tried converting it? All I could find was this on Twitter, and I was like, thank God someone found that. Like, like there was one person who was trying to figure out how to get into a GLTFL format or something like that.
Yeah, everything happens a lot faster, and you also get to, like, we host events, and just seeing like AR in the real world with real people is very refreshing, because we like know what we're doing, and then other people don't, and it can be fun to watch them interact, but it's also like you get that like feeling, because you're like, oh no, like we're so far away. But and it's good. Like we have spectacles there, and like people from the specs team come, and then they get to see people use the glasses, and then they're like, we need to go back. Like we need to fix this. But it's great for everyone in that way. So yeah, I think it's important to have these kind of things. Or else they're like locked in like Silicon Valley buildings with like 3 security checkpoints. So it's like we just want to make a more open version. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Any plus ones from the crew?
Oh yeah, dude.
Nope. Okay. All right. Just some snapping. Leighton, you talked a bit about technology like this helping raising up underrepresented artists and like you focusing on that. And what's really interesting is that a lot of this stuff is like viewable on something that many of us carry around in our pocket or creatable with like free programs. Can you speak a little bit about the importance of that and the access of it?
Yeah, so, the cool thing about things being free is like you can do whatever you want on them, but you can also bring people on without like a border to stop them, like a paywall. Like I hate going on Wall Street Journal and it's like, yeah, you got to pay $3 to like look at this article. It's like, okay, that's great, but what if somebody doesn't have $3? Because there's people who really just don't have that digital fiat gateway to just do that. So it's like, all right, I can show art through this, but I could also empower creators to own their work, which I think is where I'm kind of like leaning right now. Sorry, anti-NFT crowd, if anybody's in here, but it's like, I used to be really freaking poor, so now I'm doing this, so whatever. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like, this is the only way I can actually own my work, and at one point I was selling like a filter. It was like a Hotep filter, which is like, if you are familiar with anything from the Black community, like Hotep is basically a person that's like very aggressive about being like where they're from and all that, but it was like, I don't want this to get into the wrong hands, like, you know what I mean? Like people abuse it, so I wanted to sell that filter one by one, and I would do personal like type things. So I actually like took that same economic process into NFTs in a little bit. So I worked with a friend called Chris Warren on an app called Filter, which is basically like a platform that connects to OpenSea on, if you're familiar with that, in the crypto on Ethereum. You can buy something there and then see it on the app and it pops up, so you completely own the filter, you know what I mean? So it's like, how do I do that more on a bigger scale and like bring people on and onboard people with that? And I don't know, from there it's just literally just creating those opportunities for people to be able to completely own their work, to actually make money from what they do. Like you're saying, like it's literally tough to sell filters. That was like last year, especially during the end of the pandemic. It's like, yeah, this is great, but how do you actually make money off of this?
Yeah.
Like if I'm making like 50 filters on Instagram or something, where's like the kickback? Where's the actual incentive for me to like continue doing this and taking my time? Because time is like the most valuable thing.
Right.
And if you're spending it all day just creating and worrying, it's just like downhill mentally, you know what I mean? So
Yes.
it's more about like, how do I just own that process and like own that creativity and continue to like just share that more with more people. Like the people who are featured in that gallery all those images are NFTs. So like those are bought images, you know what I mean? Like those people earn money from that. So that was like a big thing for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like how do you spread that wealth, you know? Like how do you create that wealth? So that's big for me, you know? That's like what I'm doing. That might have been like not the question, but you know.
It is.
Yeah.
It's the future of
Like
art and
midway,
creation,
I'm just
right?
kind of, my brain's like, ugh.
No.
That's great. We want to have this very conversational. I love that. And
Yeah.
you know what? We were talking to Tom Emmerich yesterday, and he mentioned that he bought one of your Eraserhead
Yeah,
NFTs.
shout out to Tom.
Yeah, he was super excited. He was like, oh my God, he's gonna be here.
Yeah, I gotta meet Eraserhead gang. Check it out, NFTs. I don't want to promote stuff, but you know what I mean. That's a cool thing. It's a cool thing about building a community and having those people there that actually love your art for the art, which is like amazing. So
Yeah.
I love that. I love how everything's about to go to next year. It's gonna be the full-on creator, the real creator industry that people were like marketing, you know, a few years ago. Like this is about to happen now. So yeah, it's like it.
Cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
Really interesting. Yes, speaking about next year and the future, you four as creators, what do you think your focus will be as artists and like keeping up with the industry, and what should other people be looking at as well, and where should they be? Lafiya, can we start with you?
Sure. From a personal standpoint, I want to do more kind of fully fleshed out AR projects. I'm currently working, finally, I've been talking about it a long time, currently working on a project using the Project North Star headset. It's a piece about my grandparents. I lost my last remaining grandparent in 2019, and it just, you know, random items just, you know, spark memories of them. And so I'm creating a project around that, about these certain items that spark memories about my grandparents, and it's going to be an AR project using photography and music from my dad, because my dad, my parents, like I said, are musicians, and my dad has this project where he creates songs for different family members. So he already has a song for each of them, so I'm like, done, that's easy. So yeah, and I think getting back to more, a lot of my older work is just kind of more fully fleshed out storytelling projects about things that are going on in my life at the time. So just, wanting to push more of that out and just working with headsets. I'm working with the spectacles too. I'm working on a spy game right now, and I'm really loving working with headsets and glasses, so I want to get to do more of that. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'll be definitely going full in on like glasses and what maybe is emerging in the next couple of years. So my studio is focusing on like games you wear on your head, and I really like this new medium because you can basically wear it all the time, and you can wear it outside, and the game can like come out at any point, and it leads to interesting moments with connecting with other people, and maybe you wouldn't have before. So I think it's just a new medium to interact with people, and I think that'll be really fun. So I'm just exploring all that, and then I just am looking at the whole landscape of like crypto and like new experiences and things like that, and like what can you do around community creation. We're doing AR House. There's lots of things that can come out of like bringing people together, which is always the interesting point of like this technology. So that's what I'm looking at maybe some more NFTs and things like that.
Nice. Yeah, I'll like build off of the glasses thing. That's like definitely where I feel like everything is gonna go. And to that point, like I wanted to go back to what I was kind of doing in college, especially because I did industrial design, and it was more about one of the biggest like moments in my time doing industrial design was like learning that you shouldn't design for like the middle of the pack. You should design for the extremes so everything works indirectly. You know what I mean? So you should design something for older people. Like there should be a ramp that goes up these stairs, things like that. You know what I mean? So for me, I wanted to actually get into open source ideas. Like how do you go to the grocery store and know exactly where everything is if you've never been in there before, and how can like glasses help that? Like can you put the list together and like with the emerging technology of NFTs and even being able to just track things on ledgers, I'm sure all that metadata will be there to be able to track things. And if we pay attention to how companies market stuff in grocery stores and stuff like that, then you can say, the healthy food's over here, but like the specific brand is gonna be on the top shelf of this, so you can go in there and not be like, I'm like the type of person that gets frazzled if I like go into a place that doesn't like, I was walking all the way around here trying to find our room. So it's like, even then it's like, man, I wish this had an AR map here, you know what I mean? So it's like really about that infrastructure and how can you make that accessible for people and make accessibility like the top priority with AR. And I'm not that good at games, you know what I mean? So it's like, I enjoy what, seeing what other people do, so I try to just focus on things that I personally would just like have an issue with, that I know other people might have an issue with, and fix those things with that. So I'm excited for that future.
Awesome.
How are we at an AR conference in 2021 and there's no
AR map.
there's no
Ear lab, I know.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah, this should be the place.
Next year.
And for me, for those that may follow me, I've been focusing a lot on mental health and working in my nursery right now, learning about nature. I've been learning about, I'm just in the space right now where I'm just absorbing a lot of information. And I was explaining to Tom Emmerich yesterday, is like, I think as artists, we have these ebbs and flows where we're like, there's just like high output at some moments, and then there's moments where we go inward and we just absorb a little bit more. We think about like, as we evolve as artists, so does our work. And for me, it's like, I kind of don't make art unless it's meaningful and it's thoughtful and there's an intent behind it. And so right now I'm just like learning a lot about what it means to be human, especially after 2020, and like what it means for humanity, like ethics and like our values, and what that means for me as a leader and like an influencer, a person that makes impact for the future. I feel like there's a certain responsibility that I have to like think about things like ethics and like what are we doing with this technology? Who are we giving our skills to? That's really important for us as, I think, all as independent creators. And like, and for me, it's like, what are we doing for the environment? What are we doing with the earth? And instead of thinking about technology and nature as two opposing things, how do we blend them and work together with them? So that's something I'm thinking a lot, especially with like AR glasses. It's like, how do we learn about the world around us in a more thoughtful and intentional way? So I'm kind of planting that seed, if you will. If anyone is looking
Segue.
for seed funding investments, I have some seeds here to help the bee and the butterfly population. So come talk to me if you need some seed funding. And please plant them in containers and on the ground, depending on where you are, just so it doesn't become an infestation.
That was smooth.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll give you some seed funding.
Yeah, please. That sounds
Okay,
good.
cool.
Yeah, I have a yard now.
You have a yard? Okay. That was really beautiful. Estelle, you also mentioned you have some intent in your work, and I also know that you are a really big storyteller. And how do you make sure that your story is being communicated in a spatial world, and also like you're creating an entire world. How do you know that your audience is looking in the right spots and kind of directing them through it to get that story?
That's so hard. I think all of us know it's really hard, especially if it's in a spatialized space, what environment or experience. I think it really depends. That's where storytelling really takes a key. It's like, what is the user journey? How is it that they're going through this demo? Is there any type of instruction before they get into the demo? So for any type of experience that I'm taking part in, is like the experience starts before they even go into the headset or before they even put on the experience or use their phone. It starts, let's just use like theme park design. Like when you're in line at the Little Mermaid, that's my favorite one. That's the Little Mermaid ride at Disneyland. Like you walk in, you're going into that environment. All like the railings are all designed with seashells. Like you're already like subconsciously stepping into this space. And then when you're like sitting in the pod, like that, you're already immersed in the full experience. So it's like just thinking about all the steps of what the user's going through is so crucial for that.
Yeah, I'm like working on an RPG party game for Spectacles. You like play with your friends and explore the world, and you can like play it throughout your day. And like what I'm realizing is like we already live in the game. Like this is reality. This is vanilla Skyrim. Like it works. And like what we're adding is like mod packs. So like we have the horse armor and like the new like companion, and like you're just adding mods to the life people are already living, and so you have to like respect that they're going to be doing everything wrong all the time, and you have to like design around like getting their attention kind of thing. So like have things swoop by, and then they're like, oh, what's that? And then you're taking them somewhere, but otherwise they're commuting, they're on the toilet, they're like doing things that they do all the time. Yeah, you design games like that. Like don't be a director like going like no here. You have to like be their friend or like a companion and like go along with them and like try to entertain them like maybe you would a kid or something, like where you're like, imagine this, and then the kid's like, no, I hate that, no. But then you say something else and they're like, all right, let's see where this goes.
Kids are so good for user testing. For that reason, it's like, are you interested? Oh man, like they're like, I hope this kid likes this.
Yeah, and then it's like, does this work with Legos? And it's like, no. And it's like, well, can you make it work? And it's like, I guess. You have to be like ready for everything.
Your art director is like 5 years old. You're like, okay, let me try.
Yeah, exactly. It has to work with like everything in their life, and that's hard. That's like very daunting, but there are ways to do it, and it only gets better with like the tech that we can build.
Getting scaling advice from a kid is like, scale your business better is like amazing.
Yeah, they'll like take off the glasses immediately, and like it's like, all right, this is better over here.
Like,
Thanks. Cool.
Is there Fortnite?
That's great. Any other thoughts on that? Anybody?
No, that's something I definitely struggle with instruction. I just finally played What Remains of Edith Finch, and that was just so inspiring to me about how it led me through the story and stuff. So I'm just trying to like notice the things that work and try to incorporate that in my own work.
Love that.
For you, like telling the stories where it matters too.
Yeah, I'm all about like big narrative. Like I'm big narrative energy. That's my thing. You know what I mean? Like I was trying to take narrative
energy.
Like even
Feeling that.
yeah, big narrative energy. So,
I love it.
Even just trying to make sure everything's like what it's supposed to be. Not all marketing. You know what I mean? Being very clear about stuff. Like even I hate to say here it is again. NFTs again. Everybody thinks it's like just JPEGs and like silly rabbits and trick stuff for kids, but it's like no, it's literally a digital deed and that's it. And it's like when you apply that to anything, like I don't have to go to State House to get my parents' deed for their house. I can just like get it from their USB drive or something. That's like changes the game of everything, the accessibility of it. Like not everybody has a car to go down there, but you know what I mean. It's all about that, yeah.
And it's like a narrative tool because like people apply their imagination to these things.
Exactly.
And build off of it. So.
Exactly. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's awesome, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was a little bit of talk about the pregame, I guess, and do y'all often have, like, do you always have instructions before you get into the immersive space, or do you sometimes start the instructions in there? Do you leave it no instructions and have it just be exploratory and, like, let them figure out what they want to do? What's the balance there?
I think it depends on the experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, some things require a little bit more instructions, and some other things we just want them to explore. Like, I think it's like just go paint, just move around and do your thing, and then you discover as you go. But there's other things if we have more intent for them to do an experience, I think that requires a little bit more instruction.
Yeah. These days, I like give it to them and run away as quickly as possible. I can't figure it out because it's too hard. But no, like one of the best ways to teach people is like show them what it can do.
Yeah.
Like a couple previews, and then they're like, "I'll figure it out," and they'll work from there usually, as opposed to like super hand holding. But like with new hardware and apps and things, it's like we use Snapchat, and like people will hit like the record button instinctively, and like that closes the lens. So you can't really like this is why I run away, because I'm just like I don't know what to do anymore. But yeah, anyways, you definitely have to instruct. You have to like put text on screen. You have to be there with them. If they put on spectacles, you have to like grab their finger, and it's like you have to touch here, and then they'll touch the wrong place still, and you just have to like keep doing things. It's a lot of hand holding right now.
Literally too.
Yeah, literal hand
literally,
holding,
like, here, move your hand here.
Yeah, can I move it? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
And you do this with your hand.
Yeah, but there's great examples of like it's becoming more intuitive. Oculus pass through is like really good. Like you see people hold up their hands and then it works, and like everything connects together. So we're just time and technology away from our lives being easier. That's why I don't stress too much about it. I run away because it's just like, all right, we'll get there. Because mostly we're experimenting, I think. Yeah, with them.
Yeah, a lot of jobs in user experience are open for sure.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It has to be like your heart sinks every day.
Every single day.
Yeah.
Even though I'm like experiencing my own stuff sometimes, I'm like, oh, I can't believe I did that. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't even make sense. Like, why did I do that? It's like a learning experience.
Exactly. But if you make it fun, back to the fun thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's a little better. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's fun how you keep yourself like lifted through the hard times, or just, I'm sure there's a lot of like artists in this room and aspiring artists, and we've all been there where it's like you're a little hard on yourselves. How do y'all face that?
I'm not very.
And I think it's back to the smiles. Like, you put smiles on everything. Like, the UI is.
I'm gonna have to start. I'm gonna
Do you
do
put
that.
googly eyes on your furniture? Like, is that?
I used
you're
to
like,
when I was-
I'll make myself happy if I just.
Yeah. Well, I used to, like, inanimate objects, they were friends to me. And I couldn't, like, throw them away. And, like, I had issues with that. So, like, they basically had eyes. Yeah. Staring back at me. Yeah. So maybe that's why. But yeah, if it smiles at you, you like feel less bad when it breaks. You're like, oh, okay, yeah. It's like still happy. not too bad. Yeah. And for other people, I feel it's the same. If it's like it smiles at them and it crashes, it's like I'll go back and I'll give it another shot.
Yeah.
I don't give up on inanimate faces too easily. It's like people, something. Anyways, that's probably not tactical advice, but like I think it is.
I'm gonna have to like throw some googly eyes on my computer, and that might.
Exactly. Is it Windows?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, I think only a lot of ways I push through is just knowing like every day's a new day. Every day's a fresh start to do something new. And then like I always think about artists in the future. I'm like, oh yeah, this artist Michelangelo was like, I don't know however old, but he wasn't my age. So it's like I still have time to be like that good or whatever. So I just think of it like that, as like there's still time to be better all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you don't really fall off. It's just you might not be into it right now. And just like sometimes you just gotta do something else. Go take a walk. Go eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, eating's important. I
Yeah.
think we forget that sometimes. Yeah.
Stepping away definitely does help. There are times where I have to just, stop for the night, play some games or something, and come back to it the next day, and then it works. So,
Yep. Anxiously rock in a rocking chair for like 2 or 3 months. Is really,
wrap yourself in a weighted blanket.
I'm not good enough. Can't figure out these problems.
Yeah.
No one will download my app.
Yes.
What am I doing?
I downloaded it. It was awesome.
Oh,
I
thanks.
think that was another, seriously, inspiration. Doodlens is fantastic. So, like,
Yeah. Hopefully it's fun. Like,
it is
fun.
fun.
get it and
It's fun.
makes AR fun, hopefully.
One last question from me. There's different ways that you can ground an experience. You can put it in the world, you can put it with an image, you could put it with like a body or a face. What do you think? Do you think you will have a focus on one of those moving forward? Do you think the industry will have like a clear, like dominant ground? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Leighton, let's start with you.
Yeah, AR fashion is here. Fortnite skins on your body, that's it. That's why I got into filters more, because it's like, yeah, this whole gaming system where you can buy skins and all that, it's gonna go on the body. Like Gucci's already doing that, like company I work for is already doing it and stuff like that. So it's like, you know what I mean? That's the way. That is the way.
Done.
Yeah, body tracking, I guess, is the
Body tracking is the answer. I'm fascinated with hand interaction, so that's kind of my thing, and especially like Aidan said, paired with headwear, it's really fascinating. Even just the basic stuff that I'm working on now, I just sit here and just keep like doing it over and over because it's so great to just have hands free and not have to hold up a mobile device. So that's my thing.
And I think I identify with like Estella. I think the world already has so much to offer, so I just see AR glasses as a way of like refocusing us on what's already there.
Yes.
And because we're really into screens, I'm really into screens. I want to like be back out in the world a little more. I call it like an escape hatch. Well, like VR is, I don't know, the Matrix scoop pod. So I'm just like trying to get us out of there. So yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of world AR. Like you're going to be looking at things around you. You're going to be looking at people. You're going to see their digital fashion on them. You're going to like love just being out here. And that's what I'm excited for.
Yeah, same. I mean, kind of same thing. I'm like, just understanding and learning about the world around us is like really important for me.
Yeah.
So it's like not exactly escape, but like really augmenting the world around us, right?
Yep.
Add another layer.
Exactly.
Very cheesy. Very cheesy.
Wow, such good answers from all of you. Really love that. I think that we are closing up on time, so I just want to thank you for such inspirational conversations, and just the energy here feels really good, and we just talked about community and like what a good place to be, and I can't wait to go home and work on some more stuff. So
Yeah.
thank you so
Thank
much.
you, moderators.
Awesome. Thank you all for that super inspiring first way to start the morning. For sure, I know now that nature is the best designer. So I also want to learn from her as well, in addition to the fact of where now we know where artists can find a seed investor. So that's really good.
Plant store.
And so some things to take away. I'm sure y'all will stick around maybe outside for people that have any questions. I know I definitely do, and whatnot. So again, just remember, create the world that you want to see, which of course is a great thing. Remember to definitely juice it up. Don't put your work on a save icon is definitely what I learned. And then also
Wow,
AWE needs some artistic wayfinding up in here.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
Yes, we
These
do.
are the creators next year, AR Wayfinding.
Yeah, hire one of us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I look
Get money,
forward to
go.
that. Hopefully a creative, artistic endeavor that we can see. And then, of course, as y'all demonstrated both on stage and in person, the trick is, a lot of smiles. So with that, another round of applause for our speakers here, please.
Thanks, Damon.
And so I'll ask these lovely people to please exit the stage as we make ready for our next presenter.
Can I do one more plug? I'm so sorry.
Oh, of course.
Yes. Hello. So just a reminder, my name is Cami Karras. I'm a creative technologist at Stream. Some of you saw like a little piece of like paper there's a link to a filter that I made. I'd love it if you shared it. It's got the Stream logo and AWE and some cool segmentation going on. We love AWE, so please use that. And also, Nathan Bowser will be interviewing people for the AR Minute by the Cabana, and I'll be hanging out there having drinks with them all day. So come hang out with us. Thank you. Afterwards.
Drinks with cool people. Check it out.